Okay, guys. So, do you guys have any doubts from yesterday's session? I'm sharing my screen here. So, do you guys have any doubts from yesterday's session or any doubts from the past session? So, we can go ahead and clarify those doubts, and then I'll continue with the commands. So, we have seen all the demands, most of the demands except the job tracker and task tracker. We have seen what is a name node and its functionality, and we have seen data node and its functionality, and we have seen the secondary name node, and we have seen a backup node, and we have seen high availability, hdfs high availability, and we have seen a hdfs federation. So do you guys have any no doubts on this? So I can go ahead and clarify them, then I'll continue with the new topic or with the commands. Okay. hdfs federation. Okay. Okay. Chindu, let me take a small real-time scenario. I think I'll correlate with the real-time scenario. Just assume that we have a huge team in our office, like huge team in working for a single project, okay, which has the 40 to 50 members of team. And that team will contain the UI people, I mean, who will work on the UI part, and there will be one more team, and who will be working on backend team, right? So, like some people are very much familiar with the UI, like HTML, JavaScript, and who are very strong in the web part. I'll come to that point, Vignesh. Okay, and in the team we'll be having, it's very difficult to manage the UI and backend team by one manager, right? Because the team size is huge, like more than 60 or more than 100, let's assume. And he's bit difficult to assign the task to UI team, and he's bit difficult to assign to remember who are all UI and backend guys, right? So what they have taken a decision, we will hire one more manager. That manager will take care of only UI guys, like who are very strong in HTML, JavaScript, or front end part, and one more manager will take care of the backend team. Okay. Now the burden is the burden is reduced on one manager. Right now, two managers are there in the team who is managing these 100 members, and one guy is completely taken care of UI guys, and one guy is completely taken of the backend guys, like Java development or SQL development, whatever. So now the burden is reduced on both the guys because of two managers are managing the team, right? One guy is completely taking care of UI. Whenever the UI work comes, this manager will take care. Let's assume manager two will take care of it. Whenever the backend work, whenever the some backend changes, ETL changes comes, manager one will take care of it. So now it's easy to process the data and easy to manage the team, right? The same way here in HDFS, when our cluster is huge, and whenever keep sending the data or keep storing the data about the data information, about the this data information, where the data is stored and which block it is stored, that data is keep going on one namespace. The namespace, as I explained, it is like a one, it's in simple words like in the C drive, under the C drive, and in one place like C drive, Hadoop under the data or somewhere, right? The same way, it is more burden to if I store in HDFS the huge, like let's say some 1,000 or 2,000 of nodes are there, and when we keep sending the data, that data is getting stored on these 1,000 nodes. Wherever the data is getting stored, the more information about the data about the data, or where and all the data is stored, belongs to which file and where it is stored, is managing by our name node, right? That is called metadata. Metadata means data about the data or more information about the data. That's called metadata. This metadata will be managed by our name node, right? Because it has a more than 1,000 nodes and data is going on to one namespace. It is very difficult to manage by one name node. To avoid the burden on one name node, they have introduced one more name node. That other name node, what will take care? It will take care some portion of the cluster. I can say 500 nodes will report to name node 1 and 500 nodes will report to name node 2. So ideally, they're spreading the namespace like a seed drive will take care of name node 1 and D drive will take care of name node 2. Now the burden is reduced. This concept is called HDFS federation. Now the name node 1 and name node 2 also has to maintain their own backup or secondary name nodes. Is this clear, Chandu? Your doubt is clear? Okay. No, there is no dependency, Vignesh. Coming to your doubt, when I start the JPS, when you give the command JPS, which one start first? It's randomly picks which are the Java services are running on backend. It randomly comes. If you see, if I run one more time the JPS, sometimes it will come task tracker first. Sometimes name node will come first. Sometimes job tracker will come first. So there is no dependency. Okay. Now I think it's good to start with the commands. Guys, do you guys have any doubts before going into the commands?
Sorry, I may missed or not. I like how we can enter into the command route. Like, do you need to give the IP or something? Like,
Okay. Uh, Once you've done the setup in our local machine, okay, once you set done the setup in our local machine, what we will do, there will be home directory, Hadoop home directory. I'll show you that in my local. This is a Hadoop home directory where Hadoop is installed in this location. In my machine, it is user user local. This is my folder I have created like that. And Hadoop, under the Hadoop I have one more Hadoop -1.0.3 in my local setup. And if I say ls here, it will list out the binary directory, bin directory, and your config and your contribution, docs, some other jars and all, right? So if you want to start your services, if you want to start your Hadoop services, go to bin directory. Here you will find so many sh files. Sh files means shell script files. When you want to start all the services, use startall.sh. Or you want to start specific services, you have a daemons, specific daemon, Hadoop daemon.sh, where you can go ahead and specify your specific daemon you want to start. Okay, we will see them in a different class, like which daemon has to run, because it's comes under the commands. When I want to start only job tracker, how to start? When I want to start only task tracker, how to start? When I want to start only name node and data node, so there are some differences, we will see them. How to refresh the name node, how to stop and start the name node, we will see them one by one. For the time being, just think that we will start using start hyphen all sh. When you say start hyphen all sh, or it will, what it will do, it will start all the services. Okay, once you install the Hadoop jar, and inside the bin directory, you will be having couple of, multiple of sh files. So those JavaScript files will run the I can say run these processes. Is your doubt clear, Jai?
No, no. My question is different. Which tool we just we used to get the command? Are you just using the command like a command task or something? Putty or like how
Okay,
like
we will use in terminal
maybe,
if it is a pseudo distribution mode. All your nodes pseudo
did you
distribution
explain?
mode.
Sorry, maybe I missed or something. Did you explain or something?
No, you didn't set. We didn't ready with the setup, so I didn't explain that. Now I'm going to explain. Once your setup is
Okay,
ready, once you have done the setup, once you have exported your class path into bash.sh, your paths ideally it is path into bash bash rc file. Like environment will set into the Linux machine. After setting the environments, open your terminal or normal command window. I can say it's a command window.
okay,
In Linux, it's a terminal. Okay,
okay,
we'll go to the terminal. There, we will Java is already installed. To run the Hadoop, we need a Java installation. So what we will do, we will go to bin directory in the Hadoop. Look, I mean, we'll go inside the bin directory, which is there in Hadoop folder. There you can go ahead and start this thing, start -sh. So it will start all the services because we are using pseudo distribution mode. What is the we have explained earlier? There are different kind of distributions. Single node, I mean single local distribution, or it is a pseudo distribution, and we have a fully distribution mode. Fully distribution modes means we will be running data node separate machine, name node separate machine, job tracker or task tracker. Job tracker will run on this name node. It can be separate machine. Okay. So all these demands will be separate machines. That is fully distribution mode, which we will use in the real time. That case, if you want to connect to that real specific name node or specific data node, we can go ahead and use a putty. Or you can use with, if you're using pseudo distribution mode, all the name node, data node, everything will be in the same machine. You can go ahead and use the, we don't need the putty here. We can directly go ahead and use start.sh. All the services will start in your local machine only, even your one machine only. Then you can start interact with them.
okay, okay. Thanks, I got it.
Okay. So anyone has any other doubts? Okay. Once my setup is ready, guys, do you guys need any help in doing the setup? See, what I feel, if I go ahead and explain the commands, if your setup is not ready, tomorrow you may forget the commands, how to do, what is the purpose of it. Anyway, I'll be sharing the document, but still, do you guys have any doubt? Or do you guys need any help in doing the setup? At least we can spend this time, today's time, for the setting up the your setups ready. Depends on the people. So majority of the people, whatever they, uh, guys, please go ahead and ping me. I would like to do now. Okay, one. So any other wants to do setup now? Any other guys want to do a setup? And guys, please respond. If you guys want the setup, I can go ahead and do the setup. Yeah, yeah. I know the few guys setup is already ready, and the few guys setup is not ready. So Vignesh want to do a setup now, and if anyone also want the setup now, we can go ahead and do the setup. Else, we can go with the commands, one or two commands or three commands I'll explain today. Then we'll see the remaining commands because I want you guys to practice parallelly. Please, guys. I think I heard Raghu. He will do tomorrow. And what about Jay and Prabhu, Krishna? Whatever do you guys please ping me. Okay. Yeah, Vignesh, for your setup thing, we'll have a after the session. Okay, after the session, you'll follow the document. You'll go through, right? Vignesh, anyway, we have set up the meeting request by Wednesday, right? So we will do the time. Let's other and in meanwhile, others also will get ready with their setup. I think your mission has some problem, so we will look at that by Wednesday. Okay. Others, yeah, I'm continuing with the commands. Okay, now my Hadoop is installed. Hadoop is installed. Now, how to check whether Hadoop is running or not? So go to the terminal, just type JPS. What it will list out? It will list out the Java processor which are running on your machine. JPS. JPS is a command to see Java processor which are running on your Linux box. Okay, these are the Java processor running on our my Mac OS box, and these are the process IDs. These are the process IDs, and it will list out the which is the process it is. It belongs to task tracker, and this process ID belongs to job tracker name node, secondary name node, data node, and some JPS. Okay, and once these are all are come up and running, these are all up and running. I'll be I can able to go ahead and talk to the my cluster. Ideally, I can go ahead and talk to the name node, job tracker, task tracker. I can able to do my task. That's what I'm able to talk. I'm able to start the commands, or I'm able to start the process. If I want to store the data, I can go ahead and store the data. If I want to process the data, I can go ahead and process the data. Okay. To check what are the names, what are the processor running, what is the command? JPS is the command. Java Process Services. And JVS will list out the all Java processor which are running on your machine. Not only these, if you are using Eclipse in your box, it will also display here because the Eclipse is also one of the Java process. If you are using some other Zookeeper or Journal which is belongs to Hadoop, those also will list out here. Okay. Now I just want to check what is the version. What is the version? No, that is not the one. If it is Eclipse, it will clearly shows that. Eclipse this is running or something. This empty is showing something, some other process might be running in my machine which is doesn't show the name. Okay, and if you want, once your Hadoop setup is done and once it is up and running, how to check the version, which version I'm using? Okay, the command is Hadoop version. You just give Hadoop space version. It will list out, it will give a warning, guys. Don't worry about the warning. So the warning, we can ignore the warning. How home directory is deprecated, that warning we can ignore, and we can go ahead and see some spelling wrong. That is the reason it's not showing properly. So Hadoop space version, and it will list out the what is the version we are using. Okay, let me clear one more time. Let me run.
Ravi,
Yeah, Rama.
sorry. Here I have a question. When you run the GPS command,
Hmm.
so the numbers which are showing are the process IDs?
Yeah, those are process IDs. Correct. Java process IDs.
Okay. That means for each task it's showing the GP, like the process ID followed by the task name, right?
Task name.
Or
Correct.
the
Process name.
maybe some process name, yes, service. Okay.
Clear, Rama?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, guys, anyone has the doubt about the metadata? What is the metadata? Metadata means data about the data, like where the data is stored, what is the data, what is the block size, who all have the permissions, more information about the data. It's like a more information about the data is called a metadata. In our RDMS terminology, also we'll call it metadata. Metadata means more about the data, data about the data. More details about the data is called a metadata. So that is maintained by our name node. Okay, so now we have seen one command to see what is the version I'm using. But my setup, my local setup, my MacBook, I'm using 1.0.3. And once I have given a version for 1.2.1, which has the advanced version, there, when you use Hadoop space version, it will list out what is the version you are using in your box, your Linux box. Linux box is like your Linux machine. Sometimes we'll call it a Linux box, sometimes we'll call as a node, sometimes we'll call as a machine, sometimes we'll call as a computer. So all these terminals are different kind of names for the same. Okay, or you can sometimes we may call server. Okay, all are representing a physical machine. Okay, Linux box means the box, that computer which install a Linux on it, we'll call this a Linux box. Clear, guys? Now, okay, now I want to freshly set up my setup is has been done very brand new, like very fresh. I haven't done any transaction with my cluster. I just created a cluster. I just use the command hadoop version, it lists out the version. Now I want to check, is there any is there any data is available in that. I want to I want to check what is the health of it. So how we can go ahead and check? For that we have a command to list out what are the data is available under the root. When I say empty slash hadoop fs, hadoop is the our command like hdfs. To interact with the hdfs, we'll use the command hadoop. Hadoop as a prefix. Fs is file system. Hadoop file system. I want to talk to Hadoop file system. Hyphen ls means list out. I mean, we know it's a common Unix command. Hyphen ls and slash. The slash represent the root directory. Root means the parent, the topmost directory. The directory structure, how it looks like a tree structure, right? There will be top node, under the sub nodes will be like a C drive. Under the C drive we'll have a one folder. Under the C drive we'll have a data as a one folder, movie as one folder, songs as one folder, software as nodes, like that. The C is our root in a Windows. When it comes here, we'll have a root directory as a root in the file system. Ideally, it's in the file system, the root directory will be there. When I click on hadoop fs-ls and root, it means that in hdfs file system, the root, what is the root? Under in the hdfs file system, is there any data in that? It lists out in my machine because I have done, there may be so many directories will be there in my system because I keep doing something. But when you do your fresh new setup in your machines, it will not show anything except the temp directory. So it will take some time to list out all those things because it has to talk to a name node and get it done. It is taking some time. And as I said, please ignore if it is if it shows you any warning, Hadoop underscore warning, home is deprecated or something. You just ignore that warning. We don't need to worry about it. If something really there is a problem, it will show the exception. It will show as a IO exception, and it will show the what is the exception as well. If really there is a problem with the cluster, it will show the exception. Okay, that time when it shows the exception, you can go ahead and look at, in your home directory. There will be in home directory there will be a log. You'll be having a log folder, logs. Okay, in these logs you can go ahead and see, it will list out all the logs. It will list out the all the logs for each service, for each daemon. I can say for each daemon I'll be having a one log file. If you see here, for the data node I have one log file, and I have a job tracker, I have one log file, and name node I have a one log file, and secondary name node I have one log file, on task tracker also I have one more log file, right? That logs folder will contain the log files for each daemon. If you get any issue, let's assume some issue came up, to see what is the exact issue, you can go ahead into Hadoop home directory. What is Hadoop home directory? It's nothing but where the Hadoop is stored. Normally, as per my document, if you go ahead and install local hadoop /logs, this is the directory. This is called Hadoop home directory. Not only Hadoop home directory, if you say any home directory, it means that where the software is installed and which folder it is installed. That is called home directory. Hadoop home means Hadoop installed on that location. Java home means Java installed on that location. If I say some Tomcat home, the Tomcat server is installed on it. Whenever you say it's a home directory, it means that the software installed on that location. That's normally we'll call as a home directory. Okay, if I say Hadoop home, it means that I'm representing where my Hadoop is installed. Clear, guys? Okay, just go back to my previous command. Hadoop fs ls I have done, and under the root I have some folders, some aggregate. These are my folders. It's not to be always same for your setup as well. It will be different for you guys. Okay, I have some folder called aggregated, I have a temp directory, I have a user, I have a user, I have a Vira. It will also list out for you like /user /temp, some other folder name which you have created. But for the brand new, it will not list out except your temp and user. It's a very brand new, it will not list out except temp and user. Clear,
Ravi,
guys? Yeah, go ahead.
one question here. The logs, the whatever logs creates,
Mhm.
okay, it creates like based on the suffix as a date. Is it correct?
So yes, date, it ends with the date. No,
Okay, in that
it
case,
will be one file. As I said, it will be one file, but that file is
okay,
full, or the file is full. It will create with the date wise.
okay. If take as I'm just trying to open multiple times, 10 times. Okay.
Okay.
So 10 logs supposed to be there. But if you see the date, okay, is it a stores all the 10 days, 10 times log belongs to single file?
Yes, all the log file will be in a single file only. So you don't need to worry
In that
about
case,
this 10, 20 these things. You don't need to worry about it. Always refer this file. And also when it is failed, right? That so normally we'll go ahead and look at this log file. Okay, when it
okay.
fails, where it has written also it will display which log file it has been written. In the exception only, it will show that while let's assume you have started the Hadoop and something is failed. Okay, let me
Yeah.
show here. See here, if you see this my screen here, starting name node. Okay, it is starting the name node and is logging into. If you see here, it is logging into this logs folder. Enter the logs folder where it is this. Like this, it will show a detailed information. Which log folder it is logged? It will say local out folder, but ideally it is a log folder. We will not look at the dot output folder. Sorry, out is like output folder. We will look at the dot log folder. Okay, it will specify where it or not is logging. So logging into this folder name node, and it is data node is logging into this data node log file, and the secondary name node is logging into secondary name node, and this job tracker is logging into this job tracker log file, and your task tracker is logging into your task tracker log file, your task tracker log file. Clear,
Okay.
Jay?
But yeah, here it's everything says like log dot out file, but actually the file which is shown as having the suffix as date. My question is it stores as a suffix as a date or like it stores like as a just out or log
No.
any format?
Okay, you don't worry about these dates. Okay, you just look at the dot log file only because everything will go and sit in the log file only. See, because my mission is more operations I'm doing, so the log file is exceeded. Some specific date, what is going on, and that log file might be created. See, if you want me to show this, I'll go ahead and view. When you view, you will be see the proper detail. One second, let me view this. What it has, just showing that some information. There is nothing is logged here. There is no exception. I think it's logged. It's just started and block report scanning. Some background, some daemons will be running, right? Whether it is talk to name node or whether it's sent to the block report to name node or not, that details will be there. But actual problems, actual issues will go into the .log file. We will see them, Jai, when
Okay.
it comes when you raise a problem.
Okay.
When you
Okay.
go,
Okay. That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
will see them in detail. About the logs, any query, we look at the when issue comes. Actual issue comes when you go ahead and look at, you will clearly understand. Why I have given that idea, because if you face while setting up or while running any while issuing the command start hyphen all, it says something is failed, it is not coming up, your name node is not coming up, where to look at, you can go ahead and look at the log files, so it will clearly shows that what is the problem. If data node is not coming up, you can go ahead and look the logs, it will clearly says that why it is not coming up. Okay. Yeah. For me it's not displaying the temp directory hdfs. It's up to you. It's see whether you have configured the temp directory or not, money. We will see them in detail. Okay, it's not necessary always. Okay, if it is so, what are the when you say when you say Hadoop fs ls command? So what are the it is listing out? It's just a command to see what are the folders what are the folders are exist in the root directory. Money when you say Hadoop fs ls. So what are the folders are displaying? Can you list out? Okay, correct. It will show under the user what are the folder we create. It will show. It is up to you. It's like a normal file system. How you will create the files? We'll create the files, right? Like we'll create the directories. How we'll create the directories by using mkdir. The same way here also we will get created. Let's assume. Let me issue a command again. I want to create. I want to show. I'm going to create one folder under the hdfs. Then after creating, I'll show how to create a directory under hdfs. Whenever you issue the command, it will take some time, guys. Please bear with that. It will take some time to get the results. Yeah. Now let me see under user what and all is there. I'll be checking under the user what and all is there.
Maybe one question, like, why is it very slow? Like, is there any
It will take time to
special?
scan because everything is running the same mission, right? Okay. I have Vira test hive and user, right? What I will do under the user here, I'll create one folder saying Hadoop one. Okay. I'm talking with Hadoop and file system. Hadoop file system. I'm issuing the command fnmkdir, and I'll be giving my path where I want to create. I want to create here Hadoop one. Okay. I am issuing the command. It will take some time to create a directory. Now, how will I check whether the Hadoop user is created or not? We can go ahead, say Hadoop fs-ls and we give the where user. Under the user we have created. Let's issue the command Hadoop fs-ls and you give the folder where you have created and it lists out what are the folders available under it. See here, Hadoop 1 has been created. What is the command we have used to create a directory? -mkdir. Why we are using fs? Because it is not a normal file system. If it is a normal file system, what we will do? We can directly go here mkdir slash where you want to create. We'll give the path, right? Like this, we'll give the path. If it is a normal file system, but it is not a normal file system, right? It is a hdfs. It is a Hadoop file system, which is a HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. We are going to talk. What I said, HDFS is a virtual layer on top of the local file system. That's what we have seen in the previous classes, right? If I want to talk to that virtual layer, I have to use a command Hadoop fs. So what it does, you are going and talking to that local file system. You are going and interacting with that file system. Okay, and here you are issuing what command you want to issue. You are using that command and you are giving the same, that signature is same for mkdir. Okay, and you start created the folder under user wherever the path you have given is get created. Is this clear, guys?
Ravi, can you do one thing? Just do the make directory with some name. How long is taking? Like
in
it
normal
will
files
take same time.
in normal file system you are saying,
Yep.
local file system it will not take much time, Jay, because
Okay.
it don't need to talk to anyone. Let's say it's a HDF is a special file system, right? Special distributed file system, right? On top of the local file system, right? It doesn't take much time. Sample test or whatever it is. I'm just creating a KDR and it is created very quickly in the local file
Yeah,
system.
that's what.
That's what
Okay,
I'm.
that's what my is. It's taking a huge time. That's what my question actually. Is it any?
That's what it is, a special file system, right? We are going to talk to our special file system. This is not the directory or local file system. It has to
Okay.
create a folder on it. It has to send that report to a name node. Name node has to create. It has to create edit logs and fs edit logs. It has to keep one record and edit log, and then name node main memory it has to keep one entry. We are using pseudo distribution mode. It's taking that much time. When you go with a cluster, because different all the machines will be running on different machines, it will be a
No,
bit
my
faster than
question is
this.
only. Yeah, my question is only to create simple file is taking such a time. So it will give the better performance than the normal file system. That's what my question.
Yes, it will give the better performance on normal file system. In normal file system, your block size is 4 KB. If you want to process that, okay. For the you are asking the better performance, the storing and processing.
Yeah, my question is like which one gives better performance, Hadoop file system or like a normal file system?
Okay, for that you have to understand what is a Hadoop file system. Why we are meant for the Hadoop file system. Local file system means it is, see, it is not a small. It is a local machine. It is a local file system for local machine. When it comes to the this is very simple operation, right? When it comes to the DFS, like multiple machines you are talking, you are connected in the internet and you're connected in the network, and you are storing the data into multiple machines and you're processing it. We have seen what is the problem with the DFS and DFS, right? Performance,
Yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
do agree with that. It is a local file system. It's directly going and writing into your local file system. It will not take much time to create a directory. It's just simply creating a directory in our local file system. But when it goes to HDFS, it will what it has to do. It has to create one directory in the data node, and that information has to maintain the name node and edit log. But why it is taking this much time? Again, that is depends on how many. I mean, what here we have taken the pseudo distribution mode. In the single machine only, we are doing everything. When it comes to the process the data, there we are processing the data multiple machines. That is completely depends on how many processes are running parallelly.
Okay.
I think still you're not satisfied. We'll come to that point while processing it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll see. We can't like take the determination on a single command. Just my question. That's it. Okay.
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 Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Now we're able to see that, right? This is the command to see what are the whether folder is created or not. Okay. You may ask me, okay, okay, right, there is a web UI also for this. You can go ahead and look at the web UI. So what is a web UI? We'll go ahead and see now. Let me create a new file. Oh, it is creating new. Okay, localhost colon. This is the local host is because I don't have the specific missions. My mission only I'm using as a name node. My mission only I'm using the data node. Right? I'm representing my machine. I'm not representing any server. So my local host is represent 127.0.0.1. My local host. My local host means my current machine only I'm treating as a server. And this is the IP address where my name node is running. This is IP, this is the address actually I want to query. I want to see where my local file system is available. Where is my name node? And when you want to look at your file systems, you can browse. When you click on the browse directories, and it will list out all your browse directories. Where we have created a folder, user. What is the folder we have created? Hadoop one. You can go ahead and look at in Hadoop one. There is nothing is available in that. We didn't put anything. We just created a folder, and these are something. Okay, we have just created different kind of folders like user. I have some different folders here. These are
Right.
my work related things. This is the UI for to look at where the your data where the your folder structure is there. It's like it will represent your name node. Go
So
ahead.
what is the group number? That's a 50075. That is the one where the name node
That
resides.
is data node. That is a data node. See, 50070 is the name node, and 50075 is the data node. So we are looking at the data, right? The data will be there in the data nodes. So this 50075 is the our data node.
Is there any command to see that port number, Ravi?
These port numbers will be configured in our XML files, right, Rama? Our
Yeah.
configuration files.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember. But like if on the command, because instead of looking back into the configuration files, like if you wanted to see on the command mode, so
Okay,
is there any?
which port it is running? So command.
Yeah, yeah, name node and data node.
Okay. As I remember, I didn't say any command. I'll update you tomorrow, Rama. By tomorrow class, I'll update you. I think so.
Okay.
Configuration files I have seen there is a configuration where you'll configure the port number and all those things. But come to command, I'll update you tomorrow, Rama. Okay.
Okay.
I'll check and I'll update you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. If you want to check what is the count, how many files are there in the HDFS file system, special file system, right? HDFS is a special file system, not than normal local file system. You can use PS. Yeah, this is normal, no, correct. Vignesh has pinged some command, netstat, or yeah, that's I'm about to say that, but that is not exact command from Hadoop, right? Yes, PS or EFL grep your process name, it may show your exact. For Hadoop, is there anything? Or I'll check and let you know, Raman Vignesh tomorrow. If we don't have that, we can go with this command. Processes hyphen. You can find a grep and you give the process ID where it is running, the process name. So it will list out the what is the host and port. Okay. So if I want to check count what are the counts available in my machine. I mean, how many files are there in your root, or how many files are there in a specific folder, we can go use count slash. I'm just given the root, or I can go ahead and use the my folder specific folder. Then it will count will list out what are the files and what is the count is available. Count is there. The count represents how many files and how many folders. Just give me 1 minute of time. Let me take some water. Hmm. These are the count. These many bytes. It will store the folders, and it will store the how many bytes it's taken, how many files are there. Because under user, I have so many folders. So many folders are there in that user. If you see, as I shown you, under user, I have one more user. Here, I have so many folders. If I go and look at each folder, again I have so many folders in this, right? Yeah. So that is the one it is listing out. Or to see the simple one, to see the simple one, instead of I'll give the user. Uh, we'll just see. The one. Okay. We will look at this. How many folders and what is the result it is giving. This much. This is the bytes, and this is the folder count, and these are the files. One folder only, and it has so many files, and this much of the bytes it is occupied. Clear about this command, guys? Okay. Now, how to check the health of my cluster? What is the health of my cluster? Whether it is properly running or something has gone wrong or not. See, normally we look at the server's health. If any application is running on the server, will the administration guy who is maintaining that server or server administration guy, he'll be checking the health of it. So the same way here we will check the cluster health. How to check the cluster health? Here we have a Hadoop FSCK. It's a normal file check. In our normal file system also we have FSCK, right? The same way here Hadoop FSCK, and you can give slash. FSCK is file system check. Okay. If you see here, it is telling the status is telling that is healthy. Okay. And also, what is the default replication factor in my machine, my configuration? The replication factor is 1. Else the default replication factor is 3. Okay, my machine, my configurations, I have given replication factor is 3. Sorry, 1. Okay, how many under replica blocks? This much percentage. Most of them are under replica. What is the over replica? There is no over replica here. And total blocks, this many. Okay, the average block size and something is mentioned in bytes. And total files, total directories, and total size of it. What are the other possible values for FSCK command output? Yeah, here we can see how many files are under replica, over replica. What is the overall under the blocks? Can you show command again? Yes, I'll show the command, Vignesh. This is the command Hadoop FSCK slash. I'm checking under the root, and the result of that it is showing that these many files. This is the total size. These are the total directories. These are the total files and total blocks across the cluster, And see, it is a pseudo distribution mode we are checking, right? We may not able to see accurate results. If it is a cluster, yes, we can see accurate results. Like it will show the proper results. These many are the data nodes are available, these many blocks has been placed in these many data nodes, and these many blocks are under replica, these many blocks are under over replica. So all this information we look at when we really look at the cluster. But when you look at the pseudo distribution mode, it will also display some results, but it is when it's checked with the cluster, it will show with more detailedly. You can easily understand here. If you see here, how many racks? The same, one rack only. One rack is nothing but one machine only. It is showing still one rack. How many data nodes? It is showing only one data node. So how many missing replicas? Most of them are missing replicas. And is there corrupted? There is no corrupted blocks. What is the average replication? One replication is average. Minimum we are maintaining one replica. What is the replication factor I have set in? Yes, it
Ravi,
will.
here
Mhm.
default it's showing one default replication factor.
That's what my setup I have mentioned one, right? Our configuration file, the replication factor we have specified one because we are using only one data node.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, how many are under replica? How many are over replica? This gives some information. Yes,
Ravi,
see,
Ravi, sorry. Like if it doesn't change this default configuration file from
mm,
3 to 1,
mm,
so then here under replica will be 2, right?
correct. There will be under replica will be too. And also you can it will store the all are here which are all under replica. But in my case, there are a huge number of files, so it may be it's not showing correctly. If you take this as an example, this line. See here, this line, this is a file under replicated, and this is a block. And target is while loading this file, I have set the three replica. It targeted replicas are three, but it has found only one. While
So
loading the
then,
data, I have specified three replicas. Through program, I have loaded this. So there, I have specified the replication factor is three. But when I load in the cluster, when I load into my machine, I have only one replica. So what will happen? Other two are missing. So most of the data, if you see all the data is saying that it is missing. It's supposed to be three replicas, but it has only one replica. So here we have seen the root level. We can go ahead and see at folder level also. If we see the folder level, see here, I have seen under the folder level is started, and this is the, I mean, it is telling that it is my local IP address I have configured like this, and the status is healthy, and total directories are four, and total file is only one file, and over replica, there are no over replica, there are no under replica. The default replication factor is one, and it is stored one only. It is not showing anything because other case, when I go and see there, it has shown some of the under replica, some of them, because while loading the data into the cluster has specified replication factor is three. We'll see them how to load the data, how to specify the replication factor for a specific file, and all we'll see. Okay, someone has some data, some doubt here. Let me go through this. Okay, yes, it will show unhealthy. But if it's not healthy, it will show the unhealthy. It will show the status. And default replication factor is three. Default replication factor is three, but on our configurations we have given one. If you configure to five, it will show any other over replica or something like that. Yes, if you configure, no, if you configure 5, it will not show over replica. Actually, over replica will comes on the picture. I have a replication factor is 3. Let's assume that replication factor is 3, the data has been stored in all the three machines. Let's assume that the block has been copied in three machines. Three copies are available now. Something happened with one of the data node. It's gone down. So when the block scan runs at background, there will be the daemon will be running. It's called a block scan. The block scan will report to the name node saying that the block one supposed to store in three machines. It is stored only two machines. It will say under replica. Okay, because the data node is failed. Now we have under replica. Supposed to be three copies, but it found only two copies. It is the under replica. Now let's assume that there is a new node is added to the cluster. The new node is added to the cluster. Then what happened? This under replica is there, right? So either you can go ahead and run your rebalancing command, or the default rebalancing command will be running at the background. What it will do? It will balance the blocks, and who are all under the replica, those blocks will be copied into newly added. Let's assume that that is a data node 4. Newly added data node 4, it will balance. I mean, it will copy to that machine. Now also we have three data nodes on the cluster: data node 1, data node 2, data node 4, right? But data node 3 is down. It has gone down, so we treat it as a down. Now it's a balance again. It's balanced properly. Now data node 3 is came up. Data node 3 is came up. So whatever the data is there in that's still alive. So when now the 4 node cluster, the block 1 is stored 4 machines. It's supposed to store 3 only, but it is stored in 4 machines because of it's gone down and came up. Now the block scanner will report that it is over replica. It has a 4 blocks now. It's supposed to be 3, but it has 4. That is called over replica. Let me put it in a small diagram and I'll explain it. Is this clear? Okay, anyway, I'll go ahead and explain it in the diagram. Take a small example. Let's assume I have a 3 node cluster. I have 3 node cluster. This is name node, as we know that this is name node, and this is data node 1, data node 2. Let me name it as a data node 1, data node 2. This is data node 3. I have one file which is 64 MB. Let's assume that it is a 64 MB file. I mean, I just taking the one block as an example to assume that salary.txt it is. And how many blocks it will create? It will create only block 1. So what is my replication factor here? Replication is, sorry, replicas are 3 and block size is 64 MB. Now this block 1 has to copy 3 machines. Let's assume that B1 came here, B1 came here, B1 came here. It's like B11, B12. Now fine, my data is stored in all 3 machines successfully. So there is no under replica, there is no over replica. It is stored properly in 3 machines. Let's assume something happened to data node 2. It is gone down. And when a background, there will be one daemon called block scanner. Block scan. Okay, that daemon will be keep running. That block scan, when it runs, it will specify that block 1 supposed to be 3 copies, but it found only 2 copies. It will says that it is under replica. Okay, so due to some new requirement, I have added a new data node to the class cluster, which is data node 4. Let's assume that data node 4. When it run the when you added a new data node to the cluster, when you refresh the cluster, and the name node will find out how many other under replica, those blocks will be copied to data node. The name node will ask one of the healthy data node to copy the block to data node which is near. Let's assume it is asked data node 3 to copy into data node 4, which is block 1 2. Okay. Now after some time, let's assume that our this is came up, our block, this is came up, it is success now. The blocks data node 2, it came up alive and it is running, keep running. Something went down, now it is running. Now what will happen? Your block 1 supposed to be 3, but it found 4. It is over replica. It is over replica. The block scanner will report that it is the block 1 is over replica. Okay. Then what it will do? Your name node smartly will ask any one of the data node to delete that data, because it's supposed to be 3 copies. It found 4 copies. Either of that, it will find randomly, it will chooses. It's not any specific, there is no any formula. It will chooses any one of the data node, depends on the space or something that will be calculated, and it will ask them to remove the block. Let's assume that it asks to data node 2 only. So what data node 2 will do? It will start removing this block. Now when a block scan runs again, it will says that yes, block scan will report it is okay. Block 1 supposed to be 3 copies. They has also found 3 copies. I also found 3 copies. It is proper. Is this clear? Okay. Any other doubts, guys? I hope it's clear. Okay. So this is about under replica, over replica, and now we'll see one command. I want to store a simple data into a cluster. How to store the data into cluster? Yeah, go ahead and ask. Someone
Hey
wants to
Vera,
ask.
one question.
Yeah.
Vera, one question.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned right this overreplica thing.
Mm-hmm.
Name node will ask data node to remove that block, right?
Correct.
When it is going to ask, like when in the writing the blocks or the regular scan checks.
In the regular scan check, it will find the regular scan check. It will ask automatic. It will when it asks the check, block scan will report is a over replica, and your name node will find that there are 4 copies in it, and your name node asks one of the data node to delete. There is no specific command to execute.
Okay. In this scenario, how the FS image will act?
FS image, the entry will go into, very good question. The transaction, we are not interacted with it, but we don't need to interact. Okay, correct. It will be finding. It will be updating in FS image. Will it update the edit logs or not? Okay, I'll update to this as well, Vignesh. I'll also check. I'll also check
Okay.
with my cluster now how it is working. The demon, I'll see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
these two questions I'll note it down.
Yep.
One
Thanks.
one is how to find the port, and another one is this one. Okay, I'll update these 2 questions.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other doubt, guys? Before going to store how to store the before going to see how to store the data into HDFS, any other questions? We can go ahead and if you guys don't have any question, and then I will go with the next topic, like next command, how to store the data into cluster. Okay. Now, so there is a command called, if you want to store the data into cluster, there is a command called hdfs -put, where you have to give your input path and where you have to give output path, where you want to store, in which location. right? When you click enter, it will start writing in that. Let me find a text file. Let me write a text file. Let me write a text file. Now I want to store this sample.txt file into Hadoop. Where I'll store in some of in a place in a Hive directory, let's assume, or I'll create one directory for the test. I will store in that. So how first I have to create a directory. How to create a directory? I have to use. Let me use a clear command. Let me show you here. Hadoop fs mkdir. Where I want to create under user. I'm creating a book test. I have created a directory. Okay, let me check whether the directories exist or not. Okay, Hadoop test is exist. Now let me put data into that directory. Hadoop fs -put. Where is my local path? It is user local backup for Mac Hadoop test. Hadoop. I have created a directory called Hadoop test. Test, right? Okay. fs -put user local backup for Mac Hadoop test. In this I have a what is the data, the file name sample test. Check here. The file is not listing out. Okay, let me create here. Touch. Sample txt. I want to store it in user slash hive. Yeah, under hive I'll store it into sample.txt. hdfs, Hadoop file system I'm talking to, hyphen put. Hyphen put is a command to, hyphen put is a class ideally, it's a Java class internally. This hyphen put, what it will do, it will take the source, and it will copy that file into your destination hdfs file system. And we can go ahead and see whether the file is available or not. Either we can see from here, go to hive, see sample.txt. Under the sample.txt we have the file. What other data is there? What is the total number of blocks are divided for this data? Only one block. Okay, and here you can see chunk size or something. Some details will be, you can, if you want to download, you can download from here only. Okay, if you want to tile the file, you can tile the files. We'll see all these commands, how to download and all those things. If any logs you want to see, you can go ahead and look at the logs directory from here. So these are the logs. Okay, these logs you can go ahead and look at them. What are the data has been, I mean, what this log file represent? What is, this is the log file. Okay, clear guys? This command is clear.
Ravi,
Yeah.
Ravi, I have a question.
Yeah, Rama.
Now we are watching all these one through user interface.
Yeah.
The thing is real time,
Mm-hmm.
so configuration files
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be accessible to the developers, right?
Configuration files.
Yes, like because so there's a name node and data node.
Mm-hmm.
They are configured on a certain port because now we have configured it. That's why we know on which ports these are data node and name node are running.
Correct.
So, but real time, so definitely all those configuration files will be managed by admins.
Correct.
So developers shouldn't be having the access to them, right?
Correct.
So that means definitely there is a way.
Okay.
Developers,
Yeah, go ahead, Rama.
yeah. So that means, so then what is the way for the developers to know?
Okay.
So
normally when they design, they will use the default ports only. They will not change the port numbers. If they really want to change and they change the port number, they will inform us. I mean, we'll be knowing those configuration files. They will be giving those configurations to administration. Will be sharing that configuration details to the team. And so if you want to manage, we'll be having some monitoring tools like Ambari, like there are some monitoring tools, Gangilia or Chukwa. There are some monitoring tools. You can using those monitoring tools, you can go ahead and look into specific data node in a real time. That monitoring tool will have the control on all the data nodes. So you don't need to specifically look into a specific data node.
okay.
Yeah. So by default they will use the 500070 for the data node. I mean name node. And if you want to look at the browser data and look at that, 500705 is the port number for it.
Okay.
If any change is there in these ports, they will share with us.
Okay. And Ravi, one more request. Maybe it is I don't know from others.
Mhm.
So it's a my personal request. So would you mind keeping all these comments in the presentation, like how you said yesterday? Because now you gave all these comments. Tomorrow, like if you wanted to practice it, we don't have any clue like what are the comments to execute.
Yeah, I'll be
And
sharing commands PPT or PDF with you guys. So you guys can go ahead and practice them.
that means what I mean is like on the class, like whatever covered in the class, like if you keep them in the presentation.
I'll keep
So
them. Yeah, I'll keep them. Ram. I'll keep in the
okay,
presentation. I'll share with you guys.
yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Ravi, one small question. Like, is it most of the comments like Linux comments, or like is it any
Yes.
uh, where?
Yeah, most of the commands are Linux commands. There are some specific commands which is administration related. Those commands are different.
Okay,
And one more thing, let
okay,
me show you here. If you want to see commands, you just type, you just give enter. Hadoop fs, Hadoop file system, just give an enter. It will list out the all the commands like a manual. Okay, here you can see what is ls, what is lsr, what is a du, what is a dus, disk utilization, disk utilizations, and count and movie. Sorry, not movie, it's moving. You move from one folder to other for source to destination. Copy hyphen cp from the source to destination, and remove. You can remove the file, right? Recursively removing, and expunge, clearing your trash. We'll see all these things one by one. Put, you can copy, you can copy from the local to hdfs, and copy from local. We'll see these details. Why, what is the difference between the copy from the local and hyphen put? Both will do the same job, but there is a slight difference in it. I'll explain when it comes. And move from the local. Get, get merge. Get means getting from the your hdfs to local. Get merge, merging to destination to local. We'll see that as well. Get merge. And concatenating text where you want to view them. And copy from local. So sorry, copy to local. It is copy to local is nothing but how you get from hdfs to local. Copy to local also the same way. Get from hdfs to local. We'll see all these commands one by one. I'll be sharing the slide also for about these commands. Is it clear, Jay? And touch, set replications. We'll see all these commands. Jay and team. Test, start, tail. If you want to look at the last part of the data in the block, you want to, or in the file, you want to see last 1 KB of data. So we can use the tail. If you want to change the mode, if you want to change the ownership, you want to change the group, and help as well. So these are the commands available for this. Is this clear, Jay?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the commands are similar, like Linux commands. Touch, urls, du, or count, or move, cp, remove. These are all, most of them are like Linux commands. Tail, right? Touch, mkdir. All, most of them are similar to Linux. Yeah. So it's already 7:45 here in India time IST. Uh, so I would like to end the session. Do you guys have any questions? Please go ahead and ask me. I'll not, next remaining commands. There are so many other commands. We'll look at tomorrow. By the time, I would request you guys, please make your setup. And Vignesh, if you get an half an hour or 15 minutes time, half an hour to 15 minutes time in your morning or some time, you do one thing. You just give me control. I'll look at the issue. What is that issue?
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, session is over. Anyone wants anyone has any doubts, you guys can go ahead, stay back and ask me.
Ravi,
Yeah.
Prabhu here.
Prabhu.
I have only 3 GB in my system.
3 GB RAM. Okay.
Yeah. Can I go ahead and install everything?
3 GB. It's a Windows machine or Linux machine, Prabhu?
It's Windows only.
Windows only. Okay. It's a 3 GB. I better suggest you to get it installed Ubuntu in a separate partition. Instead of going for a virtual box, we can go with a virtual box or virtual virtual player or VM player or virtual
VM.
desk. Yeah. So if you go with that, what will happen? It will be slow. When it will be very slow when you issue the command, or sometimes it will hangs. So I better suggest you to, if you get a chance, you can get it install the sent OS or Ubuntu OS in one of the partition.
Okay, then it will be fast.
Then it will be fast, because when you go with the virtual machine, what will happen? The Windows will be
Hmm.
parallel running, and your virtual box also will be parallel running. So you will be allocating some specific some specific data, like not data, specific memory will be allocated for the virtual machine, and Windows machine also will be using some memory. So let's assume you have given for virtual machine 1 GB or 2 GB, and your Windows will be occupying something, and your virtual box will be occupying something, right? Instead of that, you
Okay.
will install Ubuntu in one partition, all 3 GB allocated for the that Ubuntu.
Uh, can I do it through external hard disk?
Installing Ubuntu,
Yeah.
I think for installing Ubuntu you should have a bootable CD.
Mm.
You can create a bootable CD. Which is the OS you are using?
I'm using 7.
Windows 7, right? What you will do, you
Yeah.
download ISO file from ISO image. Ideally, it is Ubuntu ISO file download from the online. You can download ISO
Okay.
file. You burn that ISO file into a disk, bootable disk, and you
Okay.
have a image burner. In a Windows 7, we have a utility. The default the utility came like image burner. Okay,
Okay.
you burn it as an image in the bootable in a CD. Then you treat it as a bootable CD. Then install using that bootable CD,
Okay.
and it will
I'll
be
try that.
having, yeah, it will be having some specific steps you can find in Google. So how to install Ubuntu in Windows machine, or separate as a separate partition you can follow.
Okay.
You have to do so many steps will be there.
Okay.
Okay, the steps are like, you have to take, or you have to make some free space from your hard disk, and you have to clean it up. You have to make it to some ext format. See, Windows will use an NFTs, right? And
And
yeah, so your Ubuntu require ext4 or ext2 or ext3. So these steps will be there. You just can follow that. If you want, I can send the link. You can to follow that, or you can Google it. You will easily find that steps.
okay. Uh,
Yeah, go ahead,
okay.
Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. I'm fine. I'm good. Good.
Good, right? Okay.
I'll try that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Have a good day.
yeah. Thank you. Wish the same. Any other guys have any doubts?
I'm good, Ravi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Thanks, Ravi.
Thank you.